So good morning to all. Myself Professor T.N. Divakar, working as assistant professor in Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering in Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering. So in the previous lecture, we studied about the Declaration of Independence and Rights of Citizen. So today we are going to see the French Revolution. So let us come to the slide. So in the French Revolution, in the last video we also revised about the French Revolutions. So this is today again I will revise that one. Then we go to the next level. The revolution exploded in France in the summer of 1789. After many decades of ideological ferment, political declines, and social unrests, ideologically thinkers of the Enlightenment urged that the governments should promote the greatest good of all peoples, not the narrow interest of particular elites. Next, they were hostile to the political power of the Roman Catholic Church as well as the tax exemptions and landed power of the aristocracy. So their remedies were diverse, ranging from outright democracy to a more efficient monarchy, but they joined in the insisting on greater religious and cultural freedom, some kind of the parliamentary institutions and greater equality under the law. So these Enlightenment writings were widely disseminated and reaching many urban groups in France and elsewhere. So the monarchy was in a bad shape even aside from a new attacks. So its finances were severely pressed, particularly after the wars of mid 18th century and French involvement against the Britain during the American Revolutions. So the Enlightenment writings were widely disseminated, reaching many urban groups in France and elsewhere. So the monarchy was in bad shape even aside from new attacks. Here I am repeating the sentence because these are the very important. So its finances were severely pressed, particularly after the wars of the mid 18th centuries and French involvements against the Britain during the American involvement. So efforts to reform the tax structures founded against the opposition of the aristocracy, and finally the various groups in France were pressed by economic and social change. So the aristocrat wanted a new political rights against the royal power. And the middle class people, they sought a political voice to match their commercial importance and a government more friendly to their interests. The peasant majority, pressed by population growth, sought access to the lands of the aristocracy and the church, an end to the remaining manumerials dues and services, and relief from taxations. So these various disconnects came to a head when a King Louis XVI called the States General in 1789 to consider the new taxes, and this body had not met since 1614, and its calling released all the pressures building during the recent decades. So economic hardships resulting from the bad harvests in 1787 and 88, and reforms leaders and joined by some aristocrats and clergy insisted that the third estate, which is presenting the elements of the urban middle class, and to be granted double the membership of the church and aristocratic estates, and that the entire body of estates general votes as a unit, they insisted. In other words, on a new kind of parliaments, and the king yielded, and the new National Assembly began to plan a constitution. So riots in the summer of 1789 included a symbolic attack on the Bastille and a royal prison, and a series of rising in the countryside that forced repeal of the remanders and moral realism and the proclamations of equality under the laws. Next, a declaration of rights of man and the citizen trumpeted religious freedom and liberty of press and assembly. So while reaffirming property rights, church lands were seized, however, creating a rift between the revolutionary and Roman Catholic sentiments. So, in 1791, the constitution retained the monarchy but created a strong parliaments which is elected by about an half of France's adult males, and those were those with their properties. So this liberal phase of the French revolutions was followed between 1792 and 1794 by a more radical period. So the economical conditions deteriorated, prompting new urban riots, and the Roman Catholic and other groups rose in opposition to the revolutions, and they are resulting in forceful separations and a corresponding growing insistence on the loyalty to revolutionary principles. So these monarchs in neighboring countries, notably Britain, Austria, and Prussia challenged a revolution and threatened invasions, which added foreign war to the unstable mix by 1792. So, the radical leaders, under the banners of Jacobin parties, took over the governments and proclaiming a republic and executive the king and many other leaders of the old regime. So therefore the government centralizes increased and decimal system was introduced. So the mass military conscriptions were organized for the first time in European history, with the argument that now that the government belongs to the people and the people must serve it loyally. So in the new constitution they proclaimed universal manhood, suffrage, and reforms in education and other areas were widely discussed. So the radical phase of the revolutions brought increasing military success to the revolutionary trumps in effectively reorganized armies, which conquered part of the Low Countries and Germany and carried revolutionary laws in their wake. The revolution was beginning to the becoming the European phenomenon, and Jacobin rule was replaced by more moderate consolidations after the 1795, and during which however military expansions continued in several directions and notably in a part of the Italy. So the need of war along with recurrent domestic unrest prompted a final revolutionary regime change in 1799 that brought General Napoleon Bonaparte to the power. Next, the Declaration of Independence. Since its creations in 1776, the Declaration of Independence has been considered a single most important expressions of ideals of US democracy as the statement of the fundamental principles of the United States. The declaration is an enduring reminder of the country's commitment to the popular government and equal rights for all. So the Declaration of Independence is a product of the early days of the Revolutionary War, and on July 2, 1776, the Second Continental Congress and the legislature of American colonies voted for independence from the Great Britain. So on July 4th, 1776, the day of birth for the new country, the Continental Congress approved the Declaration of Independence on behalf of the people living in the American colony. So the declaration served a number of purposes for the newly formed United States, and with regard to the power politics of the day. It functionized as a propaganda statements intended to build support for American independence abroad, particularly in France, from which Americans hoped to have supports in their struggle for independence. So similarly, it served as a clear messages of intentions to the British. So many of these were traditional and legitimate grievances under the British constitutional laws. Therefore, the declaration firmly announces that British actions had established an absolute tyranny over these states. The Britain's acts of despotism, according to the declaration list, included taxations of Americans without representation in the parliaments, impositions of standing armies on American communities, establishment of the military above the civil power, obstructions to the right to trial by jury, and interference with the operation of the colonial legislature, and cutting off of trade with the rest of the world. So the declaration ends with the decisive resolutions that these united colonies are and of right oath to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British crowns, and that all political connections between them and the state of Great Britain is to be totally dissolved. So the first sentence of the document and their statement of the political ideals have remained the declaration's most memorable and influential sections. Among these sentences are the following: we hold these truths to be self-evident, and that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their creators with certain inalienable rights, that among these are lives, liberty, and the pursuit of the happiness. Next, the Declaration of the Independence was signed July 4, 1776. This work, assembled by John Beans in 1819, surrounds specimens of the document's text with portraits of the George Washington, John Hancock, and Thomas Jefferson, along with the seals of the 13 original states. Next one is the Declaration of the Rights of the Man and of the Citizen in 1791 is a fundamental document of the French Revolutions and in the history of human and civil rights. The inspiration and the contents of the documents emerged largely from the ideals of the American Revolutions. The key drafts were prepared by General Lafayette, working at time with his close friend Thomas Jefferson. The concept in the declarations come from the tenets of the Enlightenment, including individualism, the social contract as theorized by the Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and the separation of the powers is opposed by Montesquieu. The spirit of secular natural laws rests at the foundation of the Declaration. At the time of writing, the rights contained in the Declaration were only awarded to the men. So, furthermore, the Declaration was a statement of vision rather than reality, as it was not deeply rooted in the practice of the West or even France at the time. It embodied ideals towards which France pledged to aspire in the futures. So, while the French Revolution provided rights to a larger portion of the populations, there remained distinctions between those who obtained the political rights in the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen and those who did not. So, those who were deemed to hold these rights were called active citizens, a designation granted to the men who were French, at least 25 years old, paid taxes equals to the 3 days of works, and could not be defined as a servant. Next, tensions arise between the active and passive citizens throughout the revolutions, and the questions of the women's rights emerged as particularly prominent. The Declaration did not recognize women as active citizens. The absence of women's right promoted Olympe de Gouges to publish the Declaration of the Rights of Women and Female Citizen in September 1791. So, the declaration did not revoke the institution of slavery as lobbied for by Jacques Perry Brissots, Les Amis des Noirs, and defended by the group of colonial planters called the Club Massique. However, it played an important rhetorical role in the Haitian revolutions. Thank you very much.